Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Steele, and I'm one of your coaches for the 5K program this fall, a virtual program that Dallas Running Club is doing. First thing I want to say is just how grateful I am that all of you have signed up. I mean, this is a different program than I was a part of when I started in DRC. I started in January, trying to get back into running after having let myself get out of shape, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute, but I think this way that we're going to do it this year, we'll tell you more about that when we have our Zoom meeting. It's going to be a really fun way to try and accomplish what we would do in a normal training period virtually. That's going to be very different. A lot of what we would do in a normal program would be group runs and getting to know each other face to face. We're going to have to do that a little bit different way this year. So I wanted to start by telling you a little bit about me and a little bit about my running journey, how I started, where I am now, and hopefully it will give you a little insight into me, and I hope you will think about sharing with us as the season goes on why you run, why you've chosen to take up running in the sport, and tell us a little bit about yourself too. So I am 47 years old, and I am married to Connie, who is right now upstairs doing her thing at her office. So I'm taking a little time now to do that before we have dinner. And Cosmo, the Wonder Dog, is back there. You can kind of see him through the back. I started running really 4 years ago. I had confession time, I suppose. I had let myself get really, really out of shape. I gained a lot of weight. I had at one point been 100 pounds, and I knew that something had to give. And one year, I decided that it was going to be that year, and I joined a gym, thinking, okay, I can not go there as much as I'm not going now. So I joined a gym, and I found a personal trainer. And this time it kind of stuck. My first reaction was, okay, well, I can get in shape a little bit. I'll learn how to move, and maybe I'll get better at golf. That was my big main goal. As I started working with my trainer, I started doing a lot of different things. With cardio, especially, I took up riding a bicycle. Being a big guy, you don't want to put too much stress on your knees at first. So I really got into riding my bicycle. I started doing some of these bike rallies around Texas, and got really into that. The first one I did was the tour of Italy down in Italy, Texas. And if you've been around Texas long enough, you know that that's how that's pronounced. I got out on my bike that day. It was hot as blazes, and all I could think of was, where has this been my whole life? Being out in fresh air, kind of away from everything, and being able to just cruise down the road with my own thoughts. And so I really enjoyed that, and as I progressed in that, I started spending more and more money on bicycles. And one day I got up and I was on my way to work, and I said, you know what, I'm going to see what I can do to run. And I ran a mile for the first time probably since I was in my 20s. That was the last time I had actually run a full mile. So a good 17, 18 years since that had happened. So it felt good, and I thought that I'd always been afraid of it. And that's something also that I had talked about with my trainers, that, when you let yourself get out of shape and you become that heavy, I started to find that I was afraid to try anything. Afraid to try anything that was strenuous, or anything that kind of resembled exercise, for fear that I would hurt myself, or if I were going on a long walk, that I would get too far away from the car and would have a hard time getting back. And it became this self-fulfilling prophecy that I would never get out of shape. But it took that one time of just trying to get out and go around my house, my neighborhood. I tried to go for the full mile. And because I've been doing a little bit of cardio, it worked. And weight was coming off, and I was losing quite a bit of weight. I started to enjoy running. I ran enough. My trainer happened to be a triathlete, and so uh, I listened to his stories about that, and I knew that I liked riding the bike. I knew that I could run a little bit, and I knew that for a sprint triathlon, a 5K is the longest run that you do. So I started thinking about, maybe doing a 5K. I did my first 5K in Fort Worth at the Rar and Sons Brewery. That was a lot of fun. When things get back to normal, those may be the kind of things you want to look for. Included in your race registration is 3 beers at the end of the race. So you could do worse. Um, I did the run and I started swimming. I said, you know what, I can. Swimming was the last piece, and I figured, okay, I knew I could swim, meaning I could get in the pool and not drown. But I took some swim lessons and I did that, and I had a really great time in my first triathlon, which was in the spring of 2017, pretty much a full year after I just started to be in shape. And so that was quite the turning point for me, just on a personal level. I went from being afraid to do anything that was even remotely connected to exercise to, yes, I know, to I could actually say I participated and finished a triathlon. I ended up doing 2 of those before it was over. I got better at the running, and I thought, well, the next challenge I wanted to do was I wanted to run a half marathon. And I trained for that through the summer, which you know how hot it is here. And I actually made it. I did not do particularly well. I ran a very slow time. I don't know that I really knew how to train. I did not know things about how form worked. I did not know about how to deal with nutrition. I did not really know what it meant to follow a training plan for these things. And so when I finished my half marathon, things kind of started to fall off. I had really no goal I had in mind to work for, and I started to slack off from running and really from anything else. I started to gain weight again, and I was feeling not good. This year, um, some changes happened in my life, career-wise, and I saw this as an opportunity. I've been kind of on sabbatical this year, so I saw this as an opportunity to try to regain not the fitness as much as the way I felt when I was able to run and to exercise. I wanted that feeling back. Being able to run is great. Being able to run a long distance is great. Being able to run fast, I hear, feels great. I'll let you know if that ever happens. But I wanted to get that feeling back of feeling like I was in control and I could decide that I wanted to do something again and I wanted to run. So my wife and I, we joined very late. I think the night before we started, we joined the Dallas Running Club in January and showed up for their beginner 5K program. It felt it was pretty cathartic for me, actually. I knew that I had let myself get out of shape, and I knew that if I were going to get back into this, I needed to start at the beginning. And so I did. I got to know a lot of great people. Emily, in fact, was in that group. She was coming off an injury, and so she was leading the group. And so between the people in my group and the coaches that we had at that time, and I can't give my coaches from then enough credit. They taught me a new way to think about running and a way to really incorporate that into a healthy lifestyle, to start thinking about things like nutrition and setting my own goals. And so I have done that, and I can tell you I was really flattered when DRC asked me if I would help coach this. I like to engage people in this. I like to engage on social media. I like to talk about running, and so it is really flattering that they asked me to be a part of this with you, and I'm really looking forward to that. As you come along and you have any questions about what we're doing, why we're doing it, I'd encourage you, just know there's no question that's not worth asking when it comes to running. A lot of this really can be confusing at first, and so Emily and I are here to demystify that for you if we can. Some of it remains a mystery to me. Some of it we do just because we've been told that that's the way to do it, and we've had success with it. We don't know how the science works, but somebody does. So again, I just encourage you to ask questions, and encourage you to uh, be open with us about how your training is going. Things that are hard for you, things you like about it, things you don't like about it. There are things that if there are ways we can tweak the program to make it more fun for you. We want to get to the end of this program with you feeling like you are a runner. And the thing is, if you've gone outside, or inside, even if you've laced up your shoes and put one foot in front of the other, you are in fact a runner. So don't let anyone tell you you're not, and set a good goal. I really hope that this season brings you some success, and I am just thrilled to be a part of that. I look forward to seeing you all here on screens, and hopefully soon enough see you out on the roads. Thanks so much.